first start by affirming my faith in free speech and in freedom of press. Now, these are two values that have always helped a society keep tyranny and fascism in check and help the society from sliding into it. I am Sherif KM. I am the Chief Executive Officer of iCalibrator Training Private Limited. And this press conference, as you know, has been called because there has been certain allegations and false reports which have appeared in the press concerning me. When we talk about the freedom of speech and freedom of press, let's also remember that unbridled freedom, deliberate maligning of people, and rumor mongering, if it is done in the name of freedom of speech and freedom of press, instead of helping to keep the society in check, will actually have the opposite effect. This will lead to breeding of suspicion, it will lead to unrest, it will lead to civil strife. We all know that India started its independent life burdened with social as well as economic inequalities. Many years of effort, as of now 60 plus years of effort, has not helped to completely erase this. There has been a slow reduction in some of these inequalities in some cases, whereas in some other cases the inequalities have actually increased. And there are studies which have been conducted over this last 60 years which show how this has happened. Even in the private industry, where we proudly proclaim that merit is the only criteria by which selection happens, by which promotions happen, there have been recent studies which have very clearly proven that there are still caste and religion biases which exist even in the private industry. Okay. But there has been one shining example which stands out as an exception. The dynamic growth of the IT industry, okay, has ensured that within IT industry, it is indeed merit, which is the only thing which determines whether someone gets in and how that particular person progresses within the company. Now, certain communities might have been left out in the IT industry because of historic educational backwardness. And there are people in these societies and these sections which are working hard to remove this historic inequality. And the IT industry has also created a microcosm of Indian society where the language, caste, religion are irrelevant. And there is true camaraderie which exists between the professionals who work there. And true feelings of secularism and pride for India, you can see reflected in almost any IT company in India. But unfortunately, highly exaggerated and speculative reporting in the last few weeks at least have started destroying even this small microcosm of equal opportunity and true Indian pride. Many reports have been carried with no checking of facts and sometimes directly flying against the police, flying in the face against what the police themselves have mentioned. They were carried with no thought of what the impact of these reports are on innocent lives and what impact these reports have on the Indian society itself. One of the worst examples of this kind of reporting was a report carried in Times of India, written by Mr. N.D. Shiv Kumar on the 28th of February, titled "New Network of Terror Techies Comes to Light." You can see how words have been played with and how they try to make a catchy and exaggerated early breaking news kind of effect. This article falsely imputed that a group called MITA is a terror network providing logistic and financial support to anti-national groups. It further implied that I am absconding and the police is on the lookout for me. An environment has been created where the press can imply any random person to be a terror suspect, and the so-called terror suspects are immediately judged by certain sections of the press and fascist sections of the society to be terrorists. And they have to be denied due processes which are available and guaranteed by the Indian Constitution. In most cases, the people who are thus implicated have no backing, they will have no support, they will be isolated by the society, and thus are doomed even if they happen to be innocent. By defaming me, using baseless allegations and innuendos, the Times of India has created irreparable damage to me and to my company. I am a highly respected IT professional who has helped create the market for Indian IT services in US and other countries outside India. You can see from the various testimonials that I have handed out to you as to how the captains of Indian IT industry regard me as a professional and as an individual personally. My company is in the process of bidding for and negotiating many multi-crore deals with Indian IT software companies. And you can imagine the impact of such a report on any of these negotiations that I will have to do in the future.